I'm interested to know about the positioning as far as the market is concerned. You had this euphoria, the ramp up, the rally. Now we've had, I suppose, a real dose of political reality, one could say, from Boris Johnson. But how do you think the market is positioned?
So I think the market is positioned really well. And interesting that you broke with that deal there, because one of the things I was going to say is I think the UK could see a little bit of flurry of deal making. There's been real caution this year, both, and you see it in the new issue market and you see it in terms of M&A, because people were just not willing to go ahead and do transactions because they were very concerned about the outlook. Now, as I say, those concerns haven't gone away completely, but there's certainly a much clearer path, and you could argue that there's some good value in UK assets. So we're expecting that there will be an increase in M&A activity. Again, that's an interesting story this morning as you start to see these deals come through, and perhaps also an increase in IPOs.
Yeah. Now, I believe that both of you, Alain and Jackie, think we're going to see a steepening of the gilt curve. So can I just get a brief thought from both of you as to why? Jackie first.
Well, you know, I think we've had a flat curve for so long. It seems unnaturally flat. And again, I think just with the clearing of the clouds for the outlook for next year, we'll start to see that term premium and interest rates come back in.
Alain?
I think the key issue is the fact that we have been living in the UK since 2010 a very austere fiscal policy, which was positive at the long end of the curve, so gilt yields have been falling, and there is a huge switch at the moment. We had some news flow yesterday of huge spending for the northeast of the UK, and that is going to continue. So over the next few months, we should expect the formal switch away from austerity that is not good at the long end of the curve. So that is a steepening process.
Let's just take that thought process. There's a lovely headline from yesterday's stories that gilts, a sign of things to come as gilts come off from the concept that nirvana fades. Alain, to you first of all, the Bank of England, there was this amazing moment where we repriced the Bank of England from a cut way off 50-50 back down to 20%. After yesterday's, I suppose, possibility of hard Brexit raising again, the Bank of England came back to a higher probability. Your view, and likewise to Jackie, in terms of Bank of England, in play or not 2020? Alain, to you first of all.
I think the Bank of England will be highly reactive to the political environment. Obviously, if you were to increase significantly the no-deal Brexit risk, if that were to come back on the scenarios, then you would need a huge injection, and not only monetary, but probably a fiscal injection at the same time. So there is the BOE will be a reaction function of the political environment. At this stage, if you were to say we have bottomed out on the economy, the UK economy has suffered from the uncertainty coming from politics. So if you remove some part of this uncertainty, there should be some kind of relief. That is good for sterling, even though you should not be that enthusiastic, but some kind of relief on the very cheap currency.
Okay.
And that means the Bank of England should be on hold for a time.
So, Jackie, do you play into that? Do you think they're on hold for a time, or do you think they'll be pushed over the mental edge and have to cut?
Yeah, I think they'll be on hold certainly for most of 2020, and actually I would even say that by the end of 2020 the chances would be more chance of an increase in rates. I mean, one of the factors obviously we're watching in the next few days or weeks will be the announcement of the new governor of the Bank of England, and whether they're likely to take a more dovish or a more hawkish stance will be something we'll be watching carefully too.